Hi and welcome to another Unity C# tutorial. In this tutorial series, I'll be demonstrating common issues that developers new to Unity may encounter and ways to work around them. In today's video, we will be covering how to overcome random start order with the Orchestrator or Mediator pattern. So if you haven't heard of it before, the orchestrator or mediator pattern is a way of overcoming communication between many objects by orchestrating them all with a single object. And I will demonstrate a perfect use case for this, which I actually found in a project that I was working on. So let's just go take a look at that project right now. And I have an example game here that I'm working on for any RPG, and I have another game that I'm creating alpha. So if we go into the example game and we load it and we load up our character here, and then we're just going to go into a level that has a bunch of mobs in it, and let's go take a look at this little battle that's happening behind us here. Don't mind the low frame rates. I have a bunch of debug statements running right now. But what we'll see is a battle going on here between some goblins and some skeletons. And if you look closely, let's just see if we can get zoomed in a little more here. You'll see every once in a while a sort of purple laser beam shoot out of one of these skeletons' chests here. There you go, you just saw that. And this laser beam gives the skeleton, there we go, and we got another one coming after me now. So let's just go run away from this guy and watch what happens. So he's going to be shooting this laser beam out of his chest here, and it's going to be working totally fine, and he's just going to keep on shooting at me even when I'm out of range. So it's doing exactly what it's supposed to. If I decide to run away, then they can still keep attacking me rather than needing to get in range. So let's just go take a look at the object that's actually handling that. So basically I've got this skeleton slayer unit right here, and on it he's got a couple of scripts that are responsible for this behavior. He has an AI ability manager right here, and this one is going to subscribe to his AI equipment manager, which is going to equip the equipment that gives him that ability and lets him learn it. So that's all working fine. Now let's go into a different project here. We'll go to the alpha load game manager, which is my, same project, but like different, I've got multiple games inside this project because any RPG can handle multiple games. So before we jump into that, let's just go take a look at the skeleton slayer unit. So the skeleton slayer unit is an exact copy of the example skeleton slayer unit, but just with an UMA model rather than the skeleton character model. So if we look at our skeleton slayer unit, he's got all the same things on him. He's got up here an AI ability manager, and down at the bottom of his list an AI equipment manager. So let's just go jump into the game then, and I'll demonstrate where things start to break down. So this can be a bit confusing if you're new to Unity, because you may be thinking, well, this is great, I have an exact copy of this object, it should work exactly the same, right? And you would be forgiven for thinking that, because that's what I thought the first time too. But let's just go run over to this skeleton slayer unit, we'll get an aggro range, and we'll watch what happens. So basically he starts running after us, he's not shooting anything at us, and if we just stand still here, he's just going to do melee attacks with his sword. And he's still not shooting anything at us. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, what happened? I just literally made an exact copy of this unit here, and I'm even still inside the same Unity project. What's going on? Let's just go take a look at our debug logs here to see what happened. So we see in the skeleton slayer unit that his base character starts, his character equipment manager loads the default equipment, and then his character ability manager runs its start method and creates the event subscription that was supposed to pick up that loading default equipment. So these things are actually getting run in a different order. And you wouldn't necessarily expect that because they're just basically like copies of the same object, but that is indeed what is happening. So how do we get around this? Well, let's just go take a look at the code behind this. We have in our code here a base character, and if we look at the base character here, You'll see I've already done this with another thing that I already had this exact same problem with, my character stats, right? So if you look at character stats and create event subscriptions, you look in the start method of character stats and you'll see that I actually commented it out. I used to have it running in the start method, but because of that Unity reordering things randomly, then I had to comment it out and I had to use my base character. So when referring to the orchestrator pattern or the mediator pattern, base character for this project is going to be our mediator. So what we need to do is we just basically want this character ability manager to not run create event subscriptions in there. We want it to actually run it inside of the base character method and just call it. So to do that, we'll just need to make sure that we have a reference from our base character to our character ability manager. So I believe we actually take care of that. See, we have the character ability manager right here, but we don't actually get a reference to it. So we're going to change that. We're going to get a reference to it, but I think the funny thing is I think we already have in our AI character that happening. So we're going to remove this line from our AI character and we're going to put it down into our base character here. So in the awake method where we're getting all this other stuff, then we're just going to get the character ability manager. Now we should be able to do exactly what we did right here, and we should be able to go, instead of character stats, we'll go character ability manager does not equal null, then character ability manager dot create event subscriptions. And to do that, we're just going to have to make this a method in the interface here. So go to definition, character ability manager, and void create event subscriptions. Great, so now that's in our definition. We can save this, and if we go back to our base character, then that looks good. So now what should happen is our character ability manager should get its event subscriptions created before anything else happens, and hopefully we should see our skeleton now actually learning the ability and attacking us with it. So let's just jump back into the game. Check to just make sure, hopefully we have no compilation errors here. Alright, everything looks good, and we're going to press play. And then we're going to load the same game again. We're going to run over towards the skeleton slayer. He's going to attack us a few times. And he still doesn't have it, so let's see what happened there. So we've got the skeleton slayer. Calling start, the ability manager creating its event subscriptions, but they're not getting passed on. So the character equipment manager is definitely Okay, let's just go back to the character ability manager here and just check our subscriptions. And we'll just go to the definition of handle equipment changed, and we don't have that. Oh, right. Yeah, I know what happened there. I made a really silly mistake. I had some code in here that basically, let's just go take a look at that code here for a second. Go to implementation and there. Yeah, all right, there. Okay, basically I used to have this, I had this code here for start has run. Okay, there we go. That's a little better. I don't need that anymore because we're properly orchestrating it inside of something else's start method. I bet you, like, if we were to go into our character stats here as well, we would probably notice the same thing at the top, that I've removed the requirement for start to have run for that to work. So, yeah, that was my bad. Let's go try that again. Hopefully this time we get a skeleton that actually learned the ability properly. Okay, perfect. So play, load game. We're going to go into zombie attack. We're going to load it up here. And everything was running in the correct order, so hopefully we'll see this guy actually zap us this time. And 1, 2, 3, nope, he's not zapping us. So let's just go back and take a look at that stuff. Our character ability manager properly handled it. The skeleton slayer actually learned the ability. And I think we've actually run into a slightly different bug here. And let's just look at the life tether ability here. It has the correct required level. Let's just figure out what's happening there. So if base ability equals null, then base ability equals whoops, base ability is null. wonder maybe the character stats level hasn't been set yet. Let's just go look at the skeleton slayer here. And his level is 1, so that's fine. So else, let's see, if has ability name. We'll figure out which one of these cases is actually going on there. And then just put some debug messages to let us know. Okay, and let's try that. And let's just take a look and see. Level is too low. Okay, so that's a really interesting one, because if we look at the skeleton slayer sword, we should have an equipment profile for it. Oh, right, just skeleton slayer, and the equipment name is the skeleton slayer sword. And if we look at the skeleton slayer sword and look at the skeleton slayer life tether hit, the required level is 1. So it's almost like the character stats isn't working. So let's just go to the definition of my level and go to the implementation here. And it says get current level. So it looks like, what is the skeleton slayer's current level? If you were to look at his unit right here, it looks like his level is actually 1. But that's level. So what we actually need is for his level to have been set first. This start as run equals true is never used. Doesn't really matter. So what we want to do actually is we'll use our orchestrator for this as well. Wait, but no, that won't work. I think we actually want to go to AI stats here. Let's just go check AI stats. So go to implementation, click on AI stats, and if I had to guess, I would say like it looks like we're actually never setting his level. Let's go down into character stats here again. Let's find all references to set level. So in player stats we can set it. We set it in our character stats only if our current level is already 0. We set it in game level. There we go. So this initialize method right here on the base character is very likely how we're doing it. So let's find where that's being done. So this is done on the player manager. So for an AI character that's not spawned from a unit spawn node, where that level is set, it will never be set. So we can fix that by going into, let's see what's going to be the best way to do this. In base character, let's go to create event subscriptions. No, character stats.create event subscriptions. Right, go to implementation for that. Pull that up here so it's going to stick around. And so basically the level is being set after. Yeah, so this is another actually orchestrator issue. Perfect. So we have, we're going to take this basically, and from now on, that's going to be, let's see, orchestrator's job. So public void orchestrator set level. And we will call that, because we need the level to be set before we can perform essentially that comparison. So now, character stats, right? We have to add this to our character stats interface. And now our base character should properly be able to set the level so that when we load the equipment, we're actually the right level to actually learn the spell. So I didn't really plan to find that bug, but that's another perfect example of basically orchestrators and ordering and the need for them, essentially. So let's jump back into there. We'll now go to the Alpha Load Game Manager. We'll jump back into the game, we'll load game, we'll go to zombie attack. There we go. Yeah, we saw the lightning bolt. Perfect. And if we, yeah, there we go. Lightning bolt working. Okay, awesome. So that was kind of cool. I actually didn't expect to find two cases of where the orchestrator might be useful here, but definitely happened. And now we can see our guy is properly shooting the lightning bolt at us. So if you enjoyed that and you'd like to see more of that type of content where I catch my own bugs while I'm live streaming and put them up on tutorial lists, then feel free to subscribe to the Cohesion YouTube channel, thumbs up the video, or just leave a message in the comment telling me what you'd like to see. Thanks again, and I will see you next time.